Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. Today's topic is the Fallen One. We've got to talk about this card. I think it's a really important and interesting card in that it's going to shape the meta, but I don't think it's going to shape the meta right now. Right now, this card has a very strange tension between cards that enable it and cards that pay off. You need to run a lot of enablers to make this good, or at least to make this really worth it. You need around +3 energy, but preferably more to make this better than Sarah. Sarah has no real reason for you to run extra things to support her. You can just comfortably run the card Sarah and get her effect. So the Fallen One needs at least 3 energy to match that and more to really take off. The problem is, for the Fallen One, you have to run a lot of payoffs to get there, right? You have to run cards like Galacta, and Gwenpool has to hit the right spot, and you have to be trying various different things like Nakia and so on. And when you're not able to pull that off, the Fallen One is actually a kind of disappointing card. He is going to, with time, just get more buffs and more power and more cards that help him. Viv Vision immediately comes to mind as a card coming as the season pass next month. But until that happens, what he is a good card that is fairly slow, and these decks are both very good, but they can be sort of rushed out of games with people who have too much prio and too much power for you to mess with. The other real problem that Fallen One decks have is the card Juggernaut. Juggernaut is all over the place right now. It's one of the most common cards. You're not really filling the board with most Fallen One decks. And if you're not filling the board, then Juggernaut just is able to beat the crap out of you, right? You end up with this one really, really powerful lane, and as you try and compete for another, Juggernaut can sort of force you out and lose you the game. Fallen One is a good card. In time, I think Fallen One is going to be a great card. I think we are going to see a world where Fallen One eventually hits. They are insistent on consistently releasing buff cards to the point where eventually Fallen One will have enough enablers and payoffs that he's going to be great. I don't think that time is now. I think right now this is a good card, but like a B tier card, not an A or S tier card. So that's where I land on Fallen One. Let's take a look at some decks, including the one that people have been having the most success with right now. What you're looking at is the highest win rate Fallen One deck from Untapped. It is a decent mix of payoffs and enablers. It's got 3 payoffs for being able to do Fallen One things. The problem is, you have to be able to buff the whole board in order to really benefit from those payoffs. And that's where you start to run into little bits of trouble. We'll talk about that when we do the card by card. But first, I got this from untapped.gg. This is the top Fallen One win rate. This is not my favorite Fallen One deck. My favorite Fallen One deck will be the second deck of the video. This deck needs Sebastian Shaw, Carter, and Surge. You cannot play it without those. Shaw and Carter are 2 of the aforementioned payoffs. Surge on Fallen One alone, if you can get Fallen One to 4 cost, is a 4/6 that gives you 7 energy on turn 5 and 8 energy on turn 6. That's good enough. Fastos or Mr. Fantastic can be Nakia. Mr. Fantastic First Steps was amazing here. Fastos was hit or miss depending on what was in the deck. Gwen or Galactic can be Absorbing Man without any real trouble. You are going to want one of the two, but you can do without both. I can't breathe at all, excuse me. Herbie can be Forged. I was feeling all better, and today I woke up very stuffy. Herbie can be Forged. I'm not sure that Forge isn't just better than Herbie. Herbie's energy is nice, but not super great here. Forge seems like he'd be incredible, literally just to go Forge into Carter. Seems like it's very useful. And then, of course, we have Sarah, who could just replace the Fallen One, and you actually don't lose all that much in this deck. It actually might be better. It's easier to use. All right. Surge, Herbie, and Surge and Okoye are meant to be buffs. Getting Fallen One, Galactor, or Gwenpool out early is incredibly strong, so Surge is amazing here. Okoye is plenty good. Remember that Okoye means +3 power on Brood, +3 power if you can fill the Carter lane, +3 power if you can fill the Shaw lane. That means if you just play Brood and Shaw, both hit by Okoye, you've got an Okoye to a 2/9. You would happily play a 2/9. Herbie is sort of a swing card here. It was nice. It won me some games by giving the +1 power by doubling its power. Buffing Herbie is decent, but it's not great. It's fairly often just you're not going to hit the right stuff at the right time. From there, we're going to talk about Captain Carter. Captain Carter here is an incredible, incredible card. She is a dual use buff card for this list. You can use her not only to buff your endgame power, but if you play a Fallen One behind her, let's say you go Okoye, Carter, who cares, whatever, on 4, Gwenpool or Galacta, and then you play Fallen One on that Carter. Fallen One is at least 7 energy. That gets him to 8. 9 is sort of the magic number here. So you want to try and get Fallen One to 9. So like it's on the right track. Please note Sarah does not get you to 9 on the last. Sarah does get you to 9 on the last turn without any work, but Fallen One is going to have to get you to 9 because you want to play 3/3s fairly often on the last turn. Um, that means that Captain Carter or Fallen One need an extra buff before they are played. So that's one of the ways to get the extra energy. 9 energy is nice, but it fairly often leads to like an extra surge or a Koya or whatever at the end of the game, and that's juice not worth the squeeze. If you were running Absorbing Men, it lets you do Brood Absorbing Men shenanigans on the last turn, or Absorbing Men Surfer shenanigans on the last turn with just Fallen One. So that's nice, but we're not. So Surfer is a your win condition, really, right? You need that end game buff to really go over the top of anything. This is a Surfer deck that is very, very reliant on Surfer. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Next up, we have Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic giving Fallen One, again, either -1 cost or +1 energy is absolutely stellar. If you get that -1 cost and play Fallen One on 4, you're at 6 and 7 energy. Again, not a ton, but 6 energy on turn 5 for Surfer decks is a big deal, and doing that is generally worth it. The +2 power is really great. That means you have an 8 energy last turn. Again, very, very nice. All right, if you can do that behind Carter, you've won. Fastos is the same concept as Fantastic, except a little it's gonna hit the deck, not the board. They're the same card at this point, except Fantastic is a bit better. Shaw is one of your big things. We need payoffs. Shaw is a decent payoff here. Not an amazing payoff, right? It's hard to get Shaw hit by more than like 1 or 2 things with this deck. If Gwenpool goes off on Shaw, you feel really good. If Okoye hits Shaw, you feel really good. But it's hard to hit Shaw enough to make him really great in this deck. But you do need that third buff target, so here he is. Gwenpool and Galacta are big buffs. My Gwenpool was allergic to hitting Fallen One, which was extremely annoying. But if it ideally hits Fallen One twice, you're good to go. You would also be happy to obviously hit the Carter Brood Shaw combos. Usually one of those Carter is on the board by then. Galacta, same deal. Galacta is a buff. Galacta will immediately make you a 7 power Fallen One. That means you are immediately at 8 if on turn 6. 9 is our goal number. So if you play the Fallen One behind Carter, you're good to go. If you play Okoye, you're good to go. So that's the fundamental way you do this deck. The problem is sometimes you get that 9 energy and you're like, this is what I'm doing with my 9 energy. Or you have to play so many cards to get to 9 energy. Now you don't really have good spaces to use Brood. Or like you had to you have some sort of throw lane that has Fallen One in it that you're not going to be able to get enough power in because you were trying to do a bunch of buff stuff, and then they can juggernaut you out of games. But there is still enough power that this is a high win rate deck, like 58, 59% last I checked. We have 60% win rate in 40 games was when I pulled this. It fell down to about 57, and I want to say in the 70s games, which is still really good. Turn 1 pass, turn 2 surge over Okoye over Herbie. Turn 3 Fastos or Carter, pending what's in the deck. You can also just drop Carter, especially if it was surged, but generally, or Okoye, but generally Fastos are fantastic. Turn 4 Galacta or Gwenpool, and if you have the right stuff, bless you. My son sneezed, sorry. If you have the right stuff, that can be a snap over Carter. Turn 5 Fallen One, you're only playing Fallen One if he's going to get you to that 8 and you have something to do with it, or if he's getting you to 9. Please remember, locations will help Fallen One. Over a 3+2, if you're not going to get any benefit of Fallen One, just play your Fastos or Fantastic, play your Carter, play your Brood, play your Shaw, and drop one of your 2s. You'll be fine. And turn 6 as many 3s as you can, and with Surfer. Ideally, you're going 3 3s and Silver Surfer, with Silver Surfer included to win the game. So you've played Carter, now you're going to go Shaw and Brood and Surfer and win. The issue there is fairly often that you're going to be choosing which one to make big, Brood or Shaw. Right, because Surfer's going to buff both, but Galacta's only going to buff one. Gwenpool's unlikely to have hit both. Fastos and Fantastic are unlikely to win both. Okoye is really important in this deck. I don't know how to overstate that, but this is a really powerful deck if it's a bit behind the metagame. Again, a lot has to go right for this, but it's got enough power in it that a lot goes right reasonably often. Before we get to deck 2, please hit that sub, leave a like, and leave a comment. It would mean a lot if you helped support the channel as we bring you a Marvel Snap video every single day. In addition, we are giving away a season pass. We are giving away a Galactus First Steps. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. We announced our winner last week. We'll be giving away another one this week. If all you have to do is sub, like, and comment, any video you comment on is your entry to win Galactus. I basically pick a random video for the week. I run it through a random generator, and anyone who answers the specific question of that video gets the Galactus. Next up, we're going to Owie's Fallen One list. Owie created this really cool list. He sent it to me. This is, in my opinion, the best Fallen One list. I couldn't buy one with it, but every loss felt like this weird variance nonsense that was very, very frustrating, but like totally fine, right? Sometimes Marvel Snap gives you the on reveal location and you need to be able to play Fallen One in a place, right? And now you don't have a safe place to do so. Sometimes Marvel Snap is going to like juggernaut your 50-50s into losses. That happened a lot with this deck, but despite that, this deck still felt really, really good. Like genuinely good. This is the best feeling deck I played with Fallen One, even if my win rate didn't back it. So if you do have the card, this is what I urge you to play it in. So you can find Owie at twitch.tv/Owie. This deck needs Mercury, Cannibal, Carter, Moonstone, and Fallen One. That is reasonably expensive. You can run a different version of this. Obviously, this is built a bit off the back of the Golden Gauntlet winner, and you can go closer to that old deck if you want to check that video. It won last week's tournament. Forge here can be Surge and might in fact be better than at Surge. Speed can be Captain America and might in fact be better as Captain America. The logic between for Captain America here. Also, I didn't like Invisible Woman very much at all. I get what she's doing here, but I was not a fan. I might make him. She's here for Shang and Killmonger because you can play them together at the end of the game, right? But I felt like I wanted another 2-on-2, so maybe I keep Forge and do run Surge there. So Moonstone Carter is one of the best ways. Oh, we'll talk about it when we do card by card, right? We'll talk about Captain America. All right. So Forge here is here to buff Carter, right? Like that's what she does. You don't really want to buff Mr. Fantastic. You will if you have nothing else to do, but Forge is here to buff Carter specifically. If you can buff Carter, you're in really good shape. That is already going to be a 9 power Fallen One, right? Except now that's 10 energy on the last turn. Perfectly happy to have it. Mercury's here for Cannonball. That's obviously an incredible combo. Invisible Woman isn't really meant to be played early. She's meant to be played late with either Shang or Killmonger. If you play her early, she's reasonably likely to limit your lanes in a really negative way. Be careful with Invisible Woman early, please. I played her early in a couple games and regretted it, just to like test out how it felt. Carter is one of your two main buffs for Fallen One. You have Carter into Moonstone as a buff for Fallen One. If you can do that, you're giving 8 energy to Fallen One, so that's 14 energy on the last turn of the game. You've probably won that game. You should probably have snapped that. You can get it Fallen One to 10 also with Shuri. Speed is very often going to be a lane winner in that deck. I got face slammed in a game where I had Captain Carter, Moonstone, and Speed in the same location, and the opponent playing a very off meta High Evolutionary deck happened to have an Enchantress. I mean, I lost 8. What are you going to do, right? Like, you're playing off meta stuff occasionally that's going to hit you for cubes because you're not ready for whatever weirdness is going to happen. But generally speaking, I think that speed should be Captain America here. Not because Captain America is better, but because Carter America is going to give you a 4 power Carter, which gives you that 10 power. Sorry, which gives you that 10 energy last turn, which is so important. Speed is keyword big, though, and really good under Moonstone, so no reason to sleep on that. Reminder that Mercury makes Moonstone movable. If you have Mercury in the Moonstone lane, or if you move Mercury to the Moonstone lane, you can move it within the same turn. That's really good for Cannonball stuff. That's really good for getting off your big combos. Again, I'm not sure how much that needs Fallen One, but it is really powerful. And that's a combo that won't work on the last turn of the game, so you are going to have to play Mercury earlier. Mr. Fantastic First Steps is yet another potential buff, yet another potential way to get stuff cheap. Shang and Killmonger here because we have all this extra energy. They are kind of our payoffs for this extra energy. If we can do Cannonball Mercury in one lane and Shang in another lane, or we can drop a speed with our Cannonball Mercury, speed with our Shang Monger. That's sort of what this deck is trying to do. Shuri is our extra buff for Fallen One, and again, we're happy to buff sort of like anything else with Shuri. I would really like a second Shuri target here, and I was unable to figure out how to get one. Moonstone is here for Carter and speed. Really great with Mercury. Fallen One gives us energy to do crazy stuff at the last turn, and Cannonball is Cannonball with Mercury. All right, turn 1 pass, turn 2 Forge or Mercury. Carter, if Forge or Moonstone are in hand, is the turn 3 over Reed over Speed. If you don't have the Forge or the Moonstone, you can drop Reed first. That would be fantastic first steps for the uninitiated. Over Speed. Turn 4, Moonstone or Shuri. Turn 5, Fallen One is over a 3+2. And then turn 6, Cannonball Shang plus whatever nonsense you can. Go way over the top. This shouldn't actually be a problem. This deck wins off the back of a Moonstone lane being stupidly huge, and then Cannonball sealing another lane, or it wins off the back of a ton of tech. It could use one more win condition, much like every Fallen One deck. That is what I kept feeling with Fallen One decks. It's got Carter, Moonstone as a win condition, or Moonstone other stuff as a win condition, and then it's got Cannonball to win another lane, and it finds itself with a problem when it doesn't draw well. Fallen One decks are right now struggling for an extra enabler that can also work as a payoff. Carter is sort of the best we found so far. That's why Carter is the card in both of these decks. But if we can find one more card that both really wants to help Fallen One and really could be played after Fallen One to win a lane, this deck would be like A tier. Right now, it's a good deck that is a little bit slow. I think I would probably change Invincible Woman for Surge, and I would change Speed for Captain America. But if you change Speed for Captain America, when you don't see Carter, your lane is a lot worse. So at that point, maybe we need more ongoing stuff, and we start mixing and matching, and the deck becomes a little more complicated. That's, again, the problem with this card right now. It's demanding things of you that the cards in this game don't fully support. At some point, the cards in this game will fully support it, and we will have a meta deck. That's it for today. Please check out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer, where I will be streaming probably relatively soon after this goes live. If not, I'll be streaming tomorrow. Oh, no. I will not be streaming tomorrow morning. We will have the podcast recording Friday night, and most of your times Eastern time zone, Friday night. Cool. Our next season pass question is very simple. Oh, no, we asked that yesterday. It's not that. It's what are your impressions of the Fallen One? That is my question. What is your impression of the Fallen One? Also, if anyone knows why I keep calling him Prodigy, I'd appreciate it. Those cards have nothing in common. I keep calling Fallen One Prodigy. But yeah, what are your impressions of the Fallen One? If you are interested in seeing these decks played, please check out the stream team where our friend the King of Canada, King of Canada will be streaming in about 4 hours. Go check it out. Patreon.com/snapjudgments is one of the best ways to support the channel. If you want to support, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. It's a great way to help us out. I am going to go through these quickly, my dear and lovely friends, because I can't breathe. Sorry, everybody. Jonesy Snap 22 is our patron of the month. Abigail Gisa, Mentor, Burnout, Irregardless, LAB, Inc., Iron Frostman, Hotat, Neverete, Prime Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood Snap, Ren Wrench, Gopher Kev, Keltor, Caretix Lee, Koiri, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Perfos, The Goat Seeker, Code, Hallowed, Synth, Fat Nick, Absolute Shannon, Dirty, Casual, Dark Moogle, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Jeebus 23, Extra V, NCPG, Jessica Gamble, Mr. Slush Death, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kev Sahota, Clam, Colonel Forbin, Rob Sylvan, David G. Wingfield, Steven, Ryan Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., Matt B., Corbin, John Q, Jimmy McHugh, Yist Out 8th Stage, One Big Man, Milkman, 4 No, Cactus Jack, Reapster, Steve-O, 131, Yo, Marco, Ted Pro, Equid Pro, Joe, Snap Decisions Joe, Bickety Boom Bop, Bricks 2, Click, Green Goblin, Unibot V2, Flown 56, Spectrumix, Hoot, Only Fox, Bat H, DJ Mike Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Tactics, Soul King, Zadrex, 74, King of Canada, JJ, Denman, Falcon, Fuckler, Newman, Two Ties, The Great Lord as the Pranking Tucker, and of course, Gunny T. The T stands for I need to go blow my nose to breathe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later today for more Snap Take. Peace.